Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is the second topic of grammar, and in this lesson, you will learn about verb, which is another major part of speech in English, or another word class in English. So last week you learned about noun, and yeah, you have watched, you have did many quizzes about that. I hope you do not forget, you still remember about that because all those knowledge or information that you've learned will be useful for you until uh, well, when you learn another subject. Okay. So verb. Okay, so here are the topics to cover for this lesson. It's about the types, categories, forms, and conjugation of verb. So, different from noun, a verb is a word that indicates an action, state, or occurrence. In a sentence, verb has the position as the predicate. You know that noun is used mostly as a subject and object in a sentence. However, for the verb, you will use it most of the time. Maybe, yeah, it's always as the predicate of the object. Okay. So there are a lot of types of verbs, just like nouns. Action verbs, stative verbs. Usually these two, transitive and intransitive. You will hear a lot about this one because it will be related to objects. There's linking, auxiliary, modal, regular, and irregular verb, mostly for like you always listen to verb one, verb two, verb three, right? So it's more will be discussed more on this one. And then there is phrasal verbs and infinitives. Okay. So let's start with action verbs. Action verbs, just like the word, just like the name, it refer to actions. Okay. So this can refer to physical actions or um, mental actions. So physical action means we can see what you're doing. Yeah, like you are listening, you are daydreaming, you are talking, you are running. I can see that you do the action. However, for the mental action, it happens inside your brain, inside your let's say body. Yeah. But more mental, ya jadi kayak psychologically. Yeah, you do this psychologically. So I say think, believe, consider, or memorize. So I cannot see that action. If you say you are thinking right now, that you have to prove me by showing some symptoms of someone who is thinking right now. So that perhaps the difference between mental action and physical action. Okay, she runs every morning. I believe in you. The next one is stative verbs. Stative verb is a verb that describes a state, a condition, situation, or feelings rather than an action. So, unlike action verbs, stative verbs usually talk about thoughts, emotion, relationships, senses, or position, not something you can see someone physically doing. But I think the biggest, how to say it, alasan penting ya, the biggest reason you need to know the difference between stative and reason is because stative verb doesn't have continuous form. It can't be added with ing, especially if they are used as a verb. Okay, so you never say I am knowing the answer, right? You just say I know the answer. I am wanting something. No, you can just say I want something, even though it happens right now. Or like I want some money right now, but you never say I'm wanting some money right now because the word want means stative verb. It describes your condition. Okay. So that's the main reason you need to know the difference between stative and action verb. While action, you can say I'm playing badminton, I'm reading a book, I am thinking right now. It shows that you are doing something right. But when you express your opinion or something, like think that I think that novel is good, you will not use it as a verb ing. You will not say I am thinking the novel is good because in that sentence, I think the novel is good. The word think me is a stative verb, while in the word I am thinking the answer of this question. Nah, itu it shows that you are doing an action, which means it is an action verb. So that's okay to use think as a verb ing, yeah, to say I am thinking right now. So that's the things that you need to remember between these two verbs. There was apa istilahnya, categories perhaps ya, that can be say about stative verbs. So it's about thoughts and opinion, it's about emotions, senses, states of being. Yeah, there are some words like think that I mentioned before that can be categorized in certain context, in certain sentence that it's a stative verb, and in another sentence it will be an action verb. You can read another sources for that. Just make sure you know the difference. Okay, so just think that when you think the verb showing an action that it's an action verb. Okay, but if it's about condition, state, feelings, emotions, something like that, without doing any kind of action, maka dia adalah static verb, and you will not do that in continuous form, in verb. Okay, next one is transitive. Okay, so a transitive verb is a verb that is accompanied by a direct object in a sentence. You have to say direct object because direct object means objek langsung, objek yang berada langsung setelah kata kerja. Okay, direct object is the noun, pronoun, or noun phrase that is having something done to it by the subject of the sentence. So, what class can be an object? Apa yang bisa menjadi objek adalah noun, pronoun. Noun sendiri kan, as I told you in the writing class, it can be a word, a noun, it can be noun phrase, even noun clause. Okay, however, again, we're not talking about noun right now, but we're talking about transitive verbs. However, one of the characteristic of transitive verb is, the main characteristic of transitive verb is it has direct object. It is followed by a direct object. Okay, so both action and stative verbs can have direct object, which means they can both be used as a transitive word. So, for example, reads. She reads something, right? So when you use the word reads, there will always be an object after that, because if you do not give us the object, it may raise question to the reader or to the listener. She reads. Okay, what does she read right now? What is she reading right now? Like, right? So the word read is a transitive verb because you will need to explain what this person reads, or is a play, what this person play, or think even. Yeah, I think of you, something like that. Okay, so that's transitive verb. While for intransitive verbs, it's the difference, it's the contrast of transitive verb. So intransitive means the verb does not require a direct object to complete its meaning. So you can just say that he cried. Tidak dibilang bahwa apa yang dia tangisi, kan kayak gitu ya. Bukan itu pun nanti jadinya it just explain that he's crying. We don't really, if you want to know about the object, you can just say he cried. Okay, dia nangis. Or you can say he runs, dia lari. Or you can say he's sleeping, without asking dia. Kalau kamu bilang dia lari kemana, itu kemana means keterangan tempat, bukan objek. Okay, we arrived, tiba di mana, lebih kepada gitu. Jadi biasanya intransitive itu is followed by perhaps adverb of place or perhaps adverb of time biasanya. Pokoknya the difference itu tadi ya. Why you need to know about these two types of verbs? Because in English we have active and passive voice, right? Just like in bahasa Indonesia you learn about kalimat aktif dan kalimat pasif. Nah, untuk kalimat untuk mengubah dari aktif ke pasif itu hanya bisa dilakukan kalau kalimatnya itu ada transitive verb. When you use intransitive verb in your sentence, you will not be able to change that sentence into passive because you do not have the object to put as the subject in passive sentence. Okay, jadi itu perbedaan besarnya. So you have to be able. Biasanya kalau untuk kata how to know that the sentence have an object, biasanya nih kita pakai kata what, nanyain apa yang dia baca, apa yang dia mainkan, apa yang dia katakan, apa yang dia lakukan, bukan ya, apa yang dia tulis misalnya kayak gitu. Itu contoh biasanya yang menunjukkan bahwa kalimat itu ada objeknya. Jadi ketika itu terjawab, maka itulah objek dari kalimat tersebut, which means verbnya adalah transitive verb. Okay? That's transitive and intransitive. The next one is linking verb. Bukan linking part ya, ada ya. So it's linking verbs. A linking verb connects the subject of a sentence to an adjective, noun, or pronoun that completes the meaning of the verb. We usually say that this sentence will have subject complement. So there will be a noun or adjective or pronoun which will describe or complete the description of the subject. Okay. Common linking verb are the forms of the verb to be, am, is, are, was, were, been, being. Okay, and then here, or you can find it here. And verbs relating to 5 senses, panca indera. Yeah, look, smell, taste, sound, feel. So this is for your eyes. Apa ini? Nose, tongue, ears, and feeling, emotions. Ya, 5 panca indera lah. And then the last one adalah verbs yang this one, become, appear, seem. So remain, stay, turn, grow. There are some other linking verbs that will be followed by adjective, noun, or pronoun. Okay. One trick, I think, one tip that I can give you to decide whether this verb is linking or action or stative is by changing the verb into to be. So for this, ini kan udah jelas to be ya, pakai they are happy. Nah, kalau misalnya kalimatnya kayak gini, the flowers smell nice. Kalau saya ganti smell-nya dengan are, dengan to be, and the sentence meaning is still the same, then the verb, the smell, is linking verb. Because this look, smell, taste, sound, feel, if you can see, if you apa itu kalau kamu pikirkan lagi gitu dari penjelasan sebelumnya, look itu bisa berarti transitive verb, which means saya melihat apa kan gitu ya, saya mencium apa gitu, saya merasakan apa gitu kan. Jadi mostly dia bisa sebagai transitive verb. Okay, tapi ketika dia as a transitive verb, you cannot substitute. Okay, kamu tidak bisa mengganti transitive verb itu dengan to be. So, for example, I smell something. I smell apa ya? Saya atau ini aja. The cake. I taste the cake. Ya, saya mencoba kue itu. Kayak apa kalau bahasa orang di Sulawesi itu kayak nah coba-coba kuenya, mana ngerasain aja atau tidak gitu kan. So I taste the cake. If in that sentence you substitute the taste with to be, ya kan? Maka jadinya I am the cake. So the meaning is different, right? It's not about I am tasting the cake anymore. If we change the verb into a be, then it becomes I am the cake. Right? So it's different. Maka di situ kata taste-nya bukan sebagai linking verb, tapi dia sebagai transitive verb. Okay, so this is what you need to remember about linking verb. Adik-adik? Karena nanti bakal ngaruh ke ini loh, setelah dia. Jadi setelah linking verb itu bukan noun kan, karena memang kata-kata di sini bukan kata transitif yang butuh noun, tapi dia sebagai subject complement. Nice ini kan adalah adjective toh. Happy juga adjective. A doctor is a noun phrase. Jadi dia namanya subject complement. Jadi dia menjelaskan a doctor ini siapa? Dia. Oh, jadi dia ini siapa? Oh, dia dokter. Namanya subject complement. Bunganya kenapa? Bunganya harum. Nah, kan gitu ya. Jadi ini sebagai subject complement. They, ya mereka kenapa? Oh, mereka bahagia. Makanya dikatakan subject complement bukan objek. Okay, guys? Semoga dipahami. Next is auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verb is also called helping verb. It is a verb that is used together with the main verb to form a verb phrase. Jadi auxiliary verb ini you cannot let it stand alone as a verb, tidak bisa. So you cannot use like do, have, must as the only verb in the sentence. Bukan bisa kalau have mem. Oke, have bisa sebagai satu kata kerja sendiri ya. Boleh. Tapi have di situ bukan sebagai auxiliary kalau dia sendiri. Dia jadinya ada memiliki, ada stative verbs. Dia menyatakan kepemilikan ya. Jadi bukan sebagai, kalau di sini kan dia tidak ada makna kepemilikan di sini. Dia menjadi pelengkap tenses perfect. Okay? So dia hanya sebagai helping verb. So it's not the main verb. Okay? It helps to express tenses, voices, mood, or aspect. Okay? Jadi kayak misalnya is gitu. Kalau dia is sebagai auxiliary verb, maka di belakang harus ada continuous verb ing atau verb 3. Itu yang harus diingat ya. Jadi tidak mungkin studying ini muncul sendiri, tidak bisa. Jadi harus ada to be di depannya untuk membantu dia berdiri sebagai satu frase kata kerja. So here are the auxiliary verbs, the common ones. Nanti modals dibahas sendiri setelah ini kalau saya tidak salah ya. Nah, ini yang penting. Call to be, am, is, are, was, were, been, being. Been ini biasa dipakai perfect, has been, right? Being itu biasa di continuous, I am being interviewed. Okay. Do, does, did mostly happened or appear, mostly used in negative or interrogative sentence. Do you like me? Does she like you? Or I don't like her, she doesn't like you. Ya, right? Jadi dia dimuncul di kalimat negatif dan kalimat tanya. Kalau have, has, had ini bisa di kalimat positif, negatif, atau kalimat tanya. Tapi dia rata-rata tensesnya adalah perfect. Kalau yang ini it depends. Mau simple present bisa, past simple past juga bisa. Kalau ini rata-rata continuous ya, atau kalau perfect bisa has been di situ. Jadinya nanti iya. Oke, jadi continuous bisa rata-rata ini. Oh, tetap pasif tadi ya, pasif. Itu auxiliary verb deh ya. Jadi dia tidak bisa berdiri sendiri, nah jangan jadikan dia sendiri. Terus kalau dia kalimatnya kayak gini, ma'am, she is a student. Nah, kalau dia she is a student, itu is-nya bukan auxiliary deh, tapi dia adalah linking verb. So, hati-hati ya. Jadi dia bukan auxiliary verb di situ, because it is the main verb. Sementara auxiliary verb tidak bisa sebagai main verb. Oke, ya. Oke, next modal. Oke, di sini tadi sudah ada ya. Di sini ada modal ya. Jadi modal juga semuanya masuk auxiliary verb. Nanti kita bahas, tapi diperlukan pembahasan sendiri untuk itu karena modal verbs ini kadang banyak yang salah-salah adik-adiknya menggunakan. Jadi modal auxiliary verb atau simply modal verb, saya biasanya bilang aja modal ya. Modals, kita sebutnya modals, is a type of auxiliary atau yang helping with the verb, ya, expresses possibility, ability, necessity, permission, advice, intention, or obligation. The main point that you have to remember when you use modal verbs is it is always followed by verb 1. Selalu diikuti oleh verb 1. Tidak pernah ada S-nya, tidak pernah jadi ed, tidak pernah diubah jadi verb 3, never. Oke ya. Terus gimana dong, mem, kalau saya mau menggunakan modal tapi dalam bentuk lampau? Karena kan kata kerjanya tidak boleh verb 2 kan. Ya, modalnya yang diubah deh. Oke, jadi can menjadi could. Might itu biasanya sentence-nya pakai may ya, tapi it doesn't matter sih. Kalau might itu lebih kepada tingkat kesopanannya aja. Jadi might bisa juga dipakai pada simple present boleh. Ya, kalau pakai simple past juga boleh. Tapi memang lebih seringnya orang kalau mau tidak ada misunderstanding ya is may. Okay, may I help you? Bukan might I help you, right? Nah, jadi lebih sering seperti itu sih. May. Must ini for the past form is, I think we used it as must have. Okay, or if it means something that you have to do, right? Maka ganti aja dia jadi had to. Ini kan sama dengan have to, walaupun ada sedikit perbedaannya. May I borrow your pen? So you see here, borrow, finish, snow, dance, eat, all of them are in how to say, basic form ya, bentuk dasar atau kita sebutnya verb 1. Tidak ada S walaupun dia pakai she. No, she can dance is no, because there is a modal di situ. Ya. Oke, semoga Nah, untuk kalau kalimat negatif, kalau kalimat negatif tambahin aja note-nya di sini. She cannot dance, she might not it might not, ya, it may not, will not gitu ya, must not boleh. Terus kalau dia kalimat tanya, yes no question atau ya WH question, modalnya maju ke depan gitu. Jadi dia ke depan, ya, mendahului subjek seperti itu modelnya. That's modal verbs. Oke, guys, semoga dipahami. Ini dihafal aja deh ya. Jadi memang every models will have different meanings. Kayak can itu lebih menyatakan ability, might itu like possibility, but it can also means permission. Like may I help you? May I ask something? Itu kan permission juga ya. So they can apa istilahnya di ada beberapa meaning yang kadang bisa bergantian. Jadi can itu juga bisa menyatakan permisi. Can I ask question? Can I ask question gitu. Ya, jadi dipelajari aja lebih lanjut. Can itu lebih sering dipakai untuk apa? Biar nanti when you use them in communication, whether it's oral or written, itu lebih tepat maknanya. Ya. Nah, next adalah regular, pas nanti ada irregular. Jadi regular ini a verb that forms its past tense and past participle by adding the atau ed to the base form. Jadi ingat ya, istilah regular sama irregular verb memang itu mostly mungkin kamu lebih sering dengar dengan istilah verb 1, verb 2, verb 3. Ya, yang namanya regular itu kan teratur ya, sama waktu noun kemarin. Regular plural noun means the subject is added by s or es, while for the verbs kalau dia sudah simple past atau past participle itu verb 3 ya, lebih sering kita bilang verb 2 untuk past, verb 3 itu past participle, we call it like that. Itu harus diingat adik-adik, jangan cuma taunya verb 3. Yang sampai ada orang yang bilang past participle-nya apa, past participle form-nya apa, itu adalah verb 3 yang dimaksud. Ya. Nah, kalau dia regular, kamu tinggal tambahin ed atau d aja. Jadi kayak misalnya work, kerja, and you want to say I worked late last night, misalnya kayak gitu, atau saya pernah bekerja di, ini kan kalimat contoh ya, saya bekerja as a barista in a coffee shop, itu kan dia pakai simple present ya. I work as a barista in a coffee shop with me, which means now I'm working in a coffee shop as a barista. While if you say I worked as a barista in a coffee shop, it means dulu kerja jadi barista in a coffee shop, but now not anymore. Ya, jadi now not anymore. Jadi kamu tidak bekerja lagi sebagai barista because you use ed lampau past. Okay? Kalau dia past participle, you can say I have worked as a barista in a coffee shop for 5 years, for example. So that means saya sudah bekerja sejak 5 tahun yang lalu sampai sekarang. Itu kalau past participle. Jadi past participle verb 3 dipakai di tenses perfect atau kalimat pasif ya. Itu regular verb. Nah, untuk ini rules-nya ya, sorry, penambahannya kan tadi kan ada penambahan deh atau ed ya. Nah, jadi silakan dibaca baik-baik. Mostly memang ed deh. Kecuali mungkin the word is already ended with ya kayak gini ya, live, live, love. Nah, itu kan decide misalnya. Itu kan udah akhirannya tinggal tambahin d aja. Jadi jangan leave it gitu, double e, tidak, jadinya d aja. Kalau selebihnya tambahin ed. Nah, maybe certain apa ya? Ada beberapa khusus, misalnya akhiran y, just like noun last week ya, last weeks itu kan ada perubahan diubah jadi I toh, ya bertambah ed. Nah, kecuali before the y itu vowel, maka y-nya nggak usah diubah, tetap aja pakai langsung tambah ed. And there is also some apa ya istilahnya ya, ini maksudnya single consonant itu biasanya kalau ditambah ed jadinya double dia. Jadi p-nya ini double p. Tapi bacanya bukan stopped deh ya. Bacanya still stopped. Tapi tulisannya ini yang mesti dipelajari. Ya, ini again I told you. This is apa ya istilahnya, belajar yang kayak gini tuh akan susah kalau kamu hanya mengandalkan memori aja ya. Makanya banyak sering latihan, banyak membaca, so you will get the familiar. Kamu jadi get familiar with the forms ya. Nah, ada regular maka tentu ada irregular. So, irregular verb is a verb that does not follow the usual pattern of adding ed to form the past tense and past participle. Instead, irregular verbs have unique and often unpredictable changes in their form. Nah, ini just like irregular plural noun, you need to memorize this one. Tidak bisa tidak. Jadi, memang tidak ada polanya ya, walaupun ada kemiripan, but it doesn't mean ada pola tertentu that this word nanti pakai pola yang ini, this word pakai pola yang ini, enggak. Ya. So for example, the word eat become ate, eaten, go, went, gone, see, saw, seen, write, wrote, written. Okay. So this is irregular. You cannot find any apa istilahnya, any pattern that to guess apa sih bakal muncul nanti kayak di sini kan. Dia sama-sama pakai verb 3 kan, en. Tapi past tense-nya beda banget. Okay, so that's irregular. You need to memorize this one. Nah ini, so some changes ya in irregular verb itu there is no change at all. So the first, second, and third is the same. Cut, put, hit. Apalagi yang sama ya? Nggak ingat sekarang. Pokoknya ini aja dulu ya, silakan. Banyak ada, pokoknya bentuknya yang pertama there's no change. The second one, the change is how to say, the same past and past participle. However, the base formnya yang berbeda is different. So for the word build, it become built. So the past and past participle are same. Sent, both think, thought juga kan kayak gitu. Or even they will change total, yeah, totally. On the first one is there is no change, while for the C it can be very different. From the basic word to the verb 1 to the verb 2 and to the verb 3. So for example, go, it become went and gone. Eat, ate, eaten. See, saw, seen. Yeah, it can happen like catch, caught masuk di sini. Yeah, because the second and the third verbs are the same. However, the verb 1 is different. Again, this cannot be said that this is the rule. Not, this is just the changes that may happen. Yeah. Even there is word like read, membaca, ya kan? The word read, if you write them down, it doesn't change in the form. So it's still read. But if you read it, you pronounce it, it will be different. Ya jadinya di sini nanti kalau disebutkan, karena jadinya walaupun tulisannya spellingnya still read, but then you say it like read, read. Okay, so if you say tadi malam saya baca 5 buku, you say I read 5 books last night, not read. Although the way you write it down is read. I hope you got my point, yeah? Jadi read, so be careful. Okay, next is phrasal verb. Phrasal, phrasal, which means combination. There will not be only one word. Okay, so just not say read is one word, it's a verb, but if it's phrasal verb, there should be some combination. It can be a verb with preposition or a verb with adverb. Okay, they get together can convey a unique meaning separate from the individual components. So when you use this phrasal verb, you cannot separate them. You cannot cut them. Makanya, as I said last week, yeah, I said there is chunking method. When you know the unit of the phrase, so you say it together. You cannot cut them in between. Tidak bisa dipotong di tengah-tengah because the meaning will be different. Yeah. So for example, look, okay, you see somewhere. But if you add a preposition after look after, it doesn't have anything but see anymore. It becomes take care of something or someone. So I will look after your dog when you go for holiday. Look after. You can say look baru after. Look baru you apa istilahnya, kayak mau pisahin between look and after. You will cut them. You will separate them. It will have different meaning. Yeah. Look up. Okay, look up the meaning in dictionary. Look up. Look up itu kalau kita artiin satu-satu deh. Look itu kan melihat, up itu ke atas gitu ya. Jadi bukan, it doesn't mean that I melihat ke atas gitu. No. But look up mean find information about that. Especially, for example, in dictionary. Okay, so it becomes idiomatic. The structure can be a verb plus adverb like up, given, run away, take away, ya kan tahu ya. Preposition after, for, rely on, adverb preposition get along with, look forward to, ini kalau di surat banyak kan ya, put up with. Okay, so these are the structure of the phrasal verb. There is only patterns, but for meaning, because it's idiomatic, you really need to learn about this one. I myself find this phrasal verb a kind of, let's say, yeah, I mean, can I say difficult? Because again, the use of the how to say, the use of the preposition, perhaps it really needs to sound natural when you use it, while we as who are not the native speaker of English sometimes get influenced by our first language. And sometimes when you say the word, jadinya we use the wrong preposition. Misalnya menikah gitu ya. Karena kalau kita dalam bahasa Indonesia, kita bilang menikah dengan, ya kan? Dia menikah dengan pacarnya gitu. Sementara kalau dengan itu dalam bahasa Inggris itu kan with, right? You say with. Tapi kalau pakai kata married, jangan pakai with. Karena kalau dia menikah dengan pacarnya, married to. You say to, gitu, bukan with. Jadi, ini yang kadang bikin yang kadang bikin salah kita ketika menggunakan phrasal verb. Jadi memang ini harus belajar banyak. Atau misalnya kata berbeda dengan, saya berbeda dengan kamu, saya nggak sama sama kamu, saya nggak sama denganmu gitu kan. Jadinya when we say different, mungkin kita akan mengatakan different with. Sementara kalau dalam bahasa Inggris padanannya itu bukan with tapi different from. I'm different from you. So that is one thing that you need to pay attention for that. Jadi untuk itu ya memang harus banyak sering membaca deh. Atau when you write, ya udah konsultasi aja dengan kamus atau gimana to find the correct preposition or the correct adverb to combine with the verb to form phrasal verbs. Ya. Nah, ada beberapa poin that you need to know about phrasal verbs. There are phrasal verbs that can be cut, yeah, or let's say an object can come between the verb and particle. So, for example, turn off the light, you can say turn the light off. Pick up the phone, you can say pick the phone up. Or you can say, I can pick you up. Oh, come on, you have to pick up. You have to pick me up, or you have to. I can pick up you. Pick you up ya. Ya, pokoknya gitu. Ada bisa dipisah, gitu. Objeknya bisa masuk di tengah-tengah antara verb dengan prepositionnya. Some can be like that. But if the object is a pronoun, you cannot just say. Oh, makanya tadi pick you up itu nggak bisa pick up you ya. Ya, karena tadi you itu kan masuk ke dalam pronoun. So this is the answer. So you say turn it off, pick you up. Okay, bukan turn off it, bukan pick up you. Ya, jadi Pikachu nanti. Okay, so that's separable. Ada juga yang inseparable. Karena kalau if you put the object between the verb and the preposition, they will have no meaning. It will be meaningless. So they're inseparable. Not look the children after, but you look after the children. Or intransitive phrasal verb, no object needed, they stand alone. Like wake up, go out, get out, ya, make up class, itu semua adalah intransitive phrasal verb that you don't really need object, just stand alone. Phrasal verb. So this is very interesting. This is when you know how to use this phrasal verb correctly, you will sound more naturally like native speaker. Okay, this is very challenging. This one. Here example again. Phrasal verbs are so I have to say so huge. The number is quite huge. Like native speaker really like using this phrasal verb. Ya, jadi silakan dipelajari aja, banyak banget ini phrasal verb. Next is infinitive. So infinitive is the base form of a verb, base dasar. Yeah, often preceded by to, like to eat, to run, to buy, dan segala macam, and can function as a noun, adjective, or adverb in a sentence. Its verbal meanings is derived from a verb but acts like a different part of speech. So infinitive will not function as a verb. So you say to infinitive, or whenever you say infinitive, it will not be the main verb of the sentence because it will require to before that. Ya, jadi makanya seringnya kita bilangnya to infinitive. Kalau kamu sering dengar gurumu mungkin sebut kayak gitu. Jadi infinitive itu to-nya diikuti oleh verb satu deh, bentuk base-nya, bentuk dasarnya. To eat, to run, to study, to write. So if you want to use this one in a sentence that have different tenses, it's okay. You don't need to worry because the verb that will change based on the tenses will not this to infinitive, bukan ini. Kecuali kamu bilang, misalnya kamu mau bilang I want to eat, saya mau makan gitu. Tadi malam saya mau makan apa? Cendol ya. Misalnya tadi malam saya makan cendol. Tadi malam itu kan lampau ya, which means the sentence will be in past form. It will use past simple past. It will use verb to, right? Tapi mau makan bukan mau makannya yang bakal berubah, tapi maunya, want-nya, the verb want that will be changed into past regular verb, bukan it-nya, karena to it ini adalah to infinitive, dia bukan main verb-nya. Okay. Function-nya, so dia bisa sebagai noun. So it can be a noun. To travel around the world is my dream. Object, she wants to study abroad. And jadi this is, what does she want? She wants to study abroad. So this is it becomes an object. Okay. As an adjective, I have a book. Okay, you have a book to read. Ini sebagai adjective to explain about the book. Okay, I have a book, but what will happen with this book? Okay, I will read it. Okay, so that's modifying a noun. She is the right person to ask. Or as an adverb, he came here to study. The purpose. Why is he here? Okay, he's here to study. She is happy to see you. Why does she look so happy? Because she is happy to see you. The reason, right? So this is function of infinitive. If you see it here, okay, for the noun, of course, it will not be a verb. But for the point B and C, you will see that the main verb is not read, okay, although it is a verb. The main verb is have, and this is. Okay, or in this one, the main verb is the came and is, not the study or see, although it seems like they are verbs, but they are not functioned as predicate in a sentence. That's to infinitive. Okay. Next one is verb forms. Bentuk verb itu ini ya. Ini let's say like the summary. Okay. Jadi you can say the verb form ada yang bentuk basic, base-nya. Verb satu kita bilangnya seringnya ada yang plus SES if you use simple present tense and the subject is third person singular, right? There is in present participle, we call it, atau present progressive, or maybe kamu lebih sedang dengar dengan present continuous. Okay, so is it like this? Or in the past form, verb 2 seringnya kamu bilang ya, he went to, atau past participle verb 3, gone. Ini yang perlu diingat perubahan-perubahannya. Nah, conjugation-nya itu adalah the process of changing the verb to match the subject, tenses, or mood in a sentence. Jadi, to conjugate the verb, it will help us to show the meaning. Kapan? Karena dia akan berhubungan dengan tenses. Ya. Match the subject with the verb. Subject-verb agreement from noun. Okay. Or use the correct form of grammar. Okay, jadi misalnya kalau dia tenses, maka dia pasti berhubungan dengan waktu kejadian. Apakah lampau, sekarang, atau masa depan. Yeah. If it is a person, to show a person, then it will be related to the subject. Okay, you, she, the noun, material. Okay, subject of agreement. If it is number, singular, plural, it also related to the subject. Mood, statement, question, command. because you know that the structure of positive sentence, negative sentence, and interrogative sentence is different. Okay? Or voice, active or passive voice. So when you use this differently, then the verbs will be different. Bakal beda semua di hasilnya. Jadi itu hati-hati untuk verb. Jadi verb ini sangat-sangat penting juga. Bukan cuma karena dia jumlahnya masih lebih kalah dari tahun lah ya gitu ya. Tapi dia itu berubah-berubah sesuai ini. Gitu, sesuai inilah. Jadi this is what you have to pay attention when you write or use verbs in a sentence. Okay? Misalnya nih, all the tenses. If it's present, then you use work, kan? If it's past, you use verb 2. If future, you still use verb 1, but you will need the modal in here. Right? Or you can say, I'm going to work. Ya, I'm going to work. Itu kan ada juga ya. I'm going. Habis itu going-nya. Okay, another person. I am studying, you are, he is, they are. You've learned about this one, I believe. Hope you don't forget. Next one is number. So if it's the student singular, then you have to write with S. If the students are plural, then you don't have S in here. Mood statement, she is reading a book. Question, is she reading a book? Command, read the book carefully. Jadi kalau perintah, verb 1 yang dipakai. Jadi agak berubah-ubah sesuai dengan statementnya, sesuai moodnya. Okay? And then active voice ini mungkin lebih complicated, but you have to know that besides the 4 types of sentence that we talk in writing class, there is also types of sentence or voice based on grammar. You say active sentence, active voice, the teacher explains the lesson. When it is active, that means the subject is doing the verb. Okay, so the subject is doing the action. Like in this example, the teacher is explaining something. So yang melakukan pekerjaan adalah, yang menjelaskan adalah gurunya. Gitu. But for the passive voice, it is the subject. It is apa istilahnya? Kebalikan. So it is the subject that is get treated. Jadi di sini pelajarannya bukan menjelaskan, tapi pelajarannya dijelaskan. So that's difference between active and passive voice. You really need to understand about this one because, yeah, I find while I'm teaching writing class, there are so many mistakes about misunderstanding ya ketika menulis. Like the students are not able to grab the difference between active and passive voice. Ya, biasa kalau saya bikin kalimat, saya periksa, wah ini maksudnya apa nih? Masa ikannya yang dimakan? Masa ikannya makan gitu kan? Misalnya ikan makan anak gitu kan? Harusnya kan tidak gitu ya. Harusnya kan anak yang makan ikan misalnya. Jadinya maknanya jadi lain. Kita lihat ya. Ini conjugation by tenses, silahkan dibaca sendiri nanti ya. Di screenshot dulu, baru diperhatikan, di post layarnya, screennya, dan di screenshot, baru diperhatikan baik-baik. If you have question related to this conjugation based on the tenses, silahkan you can ask in the group. Of course, not only about the conjugation, but all the materials that I have explained, like around 40 minutes before ago, silahkan ditanyakan di grup. Oke, that's all mungkin ya. Hari ini cukup banyak pembahasannya. Saya sengaja langsung 1 kali aja. So next week kita langsung aja kerja soal, tidak ada penjelasan lagi. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the classroom. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat good afternoon and good evening.